everyone. Thank you for that introduction, Linda. I'll try to be brief. I apologize for having to force the program a little bit, but there's a lot of great things happening this morning, and hopefully tonight the Yankees will clinch the World Series. So we have an exciting day here in the Bronx, and it's always great to start this day off with an event such as this one. The last time that most of us were together celebrating PerScholas was at this event, and all we had here was a concrete shell of a floor. And at that time I was a New York State Assembly member, and today, about 6-7 months later, I'm happy to be here not only with this new facility, but as the 13th Borough President. And what can we say about PerScholas, and what can we say about what's happening here? 16,000 square feet of a new facility where you have 8 rooms, 8 labs. As Plinio was telling me earlier in his enthusiasm, and I'll speak about that once I'm done, that you're going to have over 500 people, for the most part a lot of Bronxites, coming through these doors and developing their skills so that we can put them into real jobs, so that we can put them in jobs that have a living wage, jobs with benefits, jobs where they can have some kind of sustainability for themselves and their families. That is important. When you look at the Hunts Point section of the Bronx, those of us who have been here all of our lives and those of us who have been here for a couple of decades, in the 70s and the 80s, this is the peninsula where dreams came to die. People left and ran away from here. And as we move forward, we've been fortunate. We've been able to dig ourselves out of that horrific hole. I believe that the sky's the limit here in the borough. And as we continue to push forward and we start to outline how is it that we're going to be viable economically, not only here in the borough, but in the city, in the state, and throughout, we have to do that by creating a strong, skilled, learned, and ambitious workforce. PerScholas does that at so many different levels. You do that by bridging the digital and the technological divide, not only by showing people how to go about job training and computer training and their skills, but also refurbishing computers and doing it in an environmentally sound way. PerScholas is truly the hallmark, truly the example of what we in the borough of the Bronx want to project to the rest of the city and the state with regards to job creation, job development, and also environmental sustainability. That's why it's not only myself, not just myself as a New York State Assembly member and when I gave capital money, but when you look, you had State Senator Reverend Ruben Diaz. You had State Senator Pedro Espada, who you'll hear from. He'll be a keynote speaker in a couple of minutes. You had Councilwoman Maria del Carmen Arroyo, Councilwoman Annabelle Palma, and Assemblyman Peter Rivera. We all invested in PerScholas. And we did so, many of us did so during the last budget season, where the economy, where Wall Street, where everything was collapsing and continues to look gloom. And so when you look at elected officials, and when we get capital dollars, or when we get operating dollars, and when we're able to fight for funding, particularly in the economic climate that we're in, we have to prioritize. And so it's easy. How is it that six elected officials look from their budgets and they all say in one voice, PerScholas is an easy investment? That is evident, or that for us, if we could justify that. When people want to take a shot at what they call member items or pork spending, if anyone wants to criticize our investment, all they need to do is come to this wonderful facility. And you know what? This is done because of the hard work of all of you who believe in this dream, who believe in expansion, who believe that people should come to a facility and get trained and get the skills and do so in a place where they feel good about themselves. In a state of the art. I mean, touring this I'm not Jewish, but touring this place this morning, I'm kvelling this morning. It makes me proud. It makes me want to do more. It makes it easier. It makes our case as a borough. This is why I need you, PerScholas, to be a part of our Economic Development Summit on November 18th, where we're going to start looking at the Bronx holistically. And what is it that's working? What is it that's not? How is it that we come together? Certainly, PerScholas can be a strong voice in helping me, helping my administration lay out the blueprint so that we can move forward, so that we can submit real projects to the federal government, to the state government, and the city, so we can continue to progress and we can continue to grow. And we could do it with one Bronx and one umbrella. Speaking of that, I had a conversation. I know that there's technology, and I was having a conversation with Plinio, and this is something that I would like to see happen. It is important what you do with bridging the digital divide, but unfortunately we see a lot of young men and women and families who can't afford computers. This is why I love PerScholas. You do that, you give them state-of-the-art equipment at an affordable rate. And so even if you give them the computer, however, many of them can't afford to get on the internet. So maybe what we need to do, I know that there's technology, what we need to do is that we need to have a study. If Plinio and many of you, maybe the students that you have here, can give me a study where we can buy the equipment. There's little equipments that you can buy under $100, and if you locate them strategically, we can probably have a bubble over the borough of the Bronx so that you can have wireless internet accessibility. If we can do that, the sky's the limits. Our young men and women are hungry. They want the information. They want the technology. But sometimes finances, or quite often finances, doesn't allow them to access it. That's why PerScholas is necessary. That's why we need PerScholas. And again, this doesn't happen alone. This happens with many of you. This happens with elected officials. And elected officials, we're always thinking about so many different issues and events and funding. And there has to be an individual who goes to us and makes the case. There has to be someone who makes us smart. There has to be that person with the energy, like an Energizer buddy, who keeps pounding and pounding and pounding and won't take no for an answer. There has to be that person who is a prestidigitator, who is the magician, who is going to turn something of a dream, something that's imaginary, and make it into something real, something tangible. That prestidigitator for all of us is none other than our good friend, our leader here in PerScholas, Plinio Ayala. Come on.